What is exchange rate? I walked into a Starbucks, ordered a flat white, and tapped my phone to pay. The guy says, that'll be 4.5 pounds. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, 4.5 war. Not bad for London. But then the notification pops up on my phone from my bank, $5.82. I stood there for a second. The barista didn't do anything extra. The beans were the same. But somewhere in the half second it took for that digital signal to bounce across the Atlantic, my money shrunk, or the coffee got heavier. That is the brutal, daily reality of the exchange rate. Most people think exchange rates are something only finance bros or travelers care about, but the truth is, the exchange rate is the invisible price tag on everything you touch. Your iPhone? The gas in your car? That cheap t-shirt from Target? Definitely the exchange rate. Today, we're going to look at what it actually is, how the math works without the headache, and why it's essentially the world's biggest, loudest 24/7 popularity contest. First, we need a mental shift. We usually think of money as the measure of value. This bread is worth $3. But when we step into the global arena, money stops being the measure and starts being the product. Think of it like this. Imagine every country is a giant amusement park. To go on rides in the US, you need USD tokens. To go on rides in Europe, you need Euro tokens. The exchange rate is simply the price of admission for one park expressed in the tokens of another. It's always a pair. You can't just have the value of the dollar. That's like asking, what's the height of a ladder? You need to know what it's leaning against. If the world suddenly thinks the US economy is the place to be, they all rush to buy USD tokens. Now, basic physics, when everyone wants the same thing, the price goes up. But because this is a seesaw, if the dollar goes up, the euro has to go down relative to it. It's a zero-sum game of global confidence. All right, let's tackle the calculation part. I know math, but stay with me because if you don't understand this, the banks will eat your lunch every time you travel. On your screen, you'll see something like this. EUR divided by USD equals 1.08. The one on the left here is the base. Think of it as the 1. The one on the right, USD, is the quote. Think of it as the price. This line is literally telling you, to buy €1, you need to pay $1.08. The rule of thumb. 1. Going from the one to the many, you multiply. Example, I have €500 times 1.08 equals $540. 2. Going from the many back to the one, you divide. Example, I have $1,000. Divide 1.08 equals €925. Simple, right? But here's the AI does tell you part, the spread. If you go to a bank, they'll show you two prices, the buy and the sell, and neither of them is 1.08. They might buy your dollars at 1.05 and sell them back to you at 1.12. They are taxing your need for convenience. This is where it gets deep. Why was the euro worth $1.60 in 2008 and almost $0.95 in 2022? It's not random. Imagine you have 100,000 euros. The US Central Bank, the Fed, says we'll pay you 5% interest to keep your money here. The European Central Bank says we'll only pay you 1%. Where are you going? Exactly, you're moving your money to the US. But to put money in a US bank, you have to buy dollars first. Money is like a heat-seeking missile for high interest rates. Inflation is like a leak in your currency's gas tank. If the US has 10% inflation and Europe has 2%, the dollar is losing its purchasing power 5 times faster than the euro. Why would I hold a currency that's melting away? I wouldn't. I'd sell it for the euro. Money is a coward. When a war starts, or a pandemic hits, or there's a massive global crisis, investors don't look for profit. They look for safety. Historically, the US dollar is the world's bunker. No matter how messy US politics get, the world believes the US won't just disappear. So in times of fear, the dollar usually spikes. It's called a safe haven play. Here's where it gets counterintuitive. We're taught that strong is good and weak is bad, right? Strong muscles, strong coffee, strong currency. But if you're a country, a strong currency is a double-edged sword. Strong currency, pro. You can buy iPhones, French wine, and German cars for cheap. You feel rich when you travel. Con, everything you make is now expensive for everyone else. If the dollar is too strong, a farmer in Brazil can't afford American corn. They buy from Argentina instead. Your factory's closed because you're too expensive. Weak currency. Pro, you're the bargain bin of the world. Everyone wants to buy your stuff and visit your beaches. Your exports explode. Con, buying gas and technology from overseas becomes painful. Your citizens feel poorer on the global stage. This is why you see countries like China or Japan sometimes intentionally try to keep their currency weak. It's called a currency war. They are sacrificing their citizens' ability to buy expensive handbags so that their factories can keep selling to the world. The exchange rate isn't just a math problem, it's a story. It's a story about how much your hour of work is worth compared to an hour of work for someone in Tokyo or Berlin. When you see that number move, you're watching the world breathe. You're watching fear, greed, and innovation all fight for dominance in real time. Next time you're about to buy something from overseas, look at the relative value. Ask yourself, is my money getting stronger or is the world just getting more expensive?